Hey girl, so today I wanted to talk about, first of all, happy Vlogmas Day 2. Today I wanted to talk about our choices and how we get to choose what we want to have and don't have. So one thing about me, I'm somebody that can tend to feel very much like life is happening to me instead of me being in control. And obviously we're not in control of everything, but me being in control of the things that I can control, even those things I can feel like they're happening to me, that I have no control, that I'm just being tossed around by life, that I'm a victim of life. And I really decided more recently, and I think I talked about it a little bit yesterday, that I have choices and I get to live differently in my life. And I think that, what we talked about yesterday had to do with this, and was a more specific example of that. As in, I can choose to be different in my home, and I saw great results from that. But I think just in general, the state of my household, the state of how I manage the home, the state of my marriage and relationships, all of those are choices that I get to make. And I think the problem I've had with it before is, and I don't want to get into a whole school conversation, but what I think is that school has kind of programmed me or had programmed me to believe that other people needed to make the choices for me. It's just set up that way. Like, okay, you go to school, they tell you exactly what you're going to work on, exactly what you're going to do. And obviously I had choices in other areas. Like I think my mom, asked me what I want to do for extracurriculars, and I had choices in that. But for some reason, overall, I internalized that I am not in control. Other people make the decisions and I just have to follow along with them. And that's a really miserable place to be, honestly, because like I said, it just feels like life is happening to you and that there's really nothing that you can do about it. That's how I felt. I think even when I think about going into the work world, and obviously you choose a place to work and you get to decide that, but for some reason once that choice was made, it felt like I had to stay there. Like I couldn't make a new choice. And I think that part of this has to do with why I don't make choices sometimes. I feel scared to make the wrong one and then feel like, I can't go back on that choice. I already made it. And that's just not the case. And so making the initial choice, I think I am aware of, like, okay, what extracurricular do you want to do? Oh, mom, I want to do ballet. Okay, fine. But once I realized I hated ballet, which I didn't, but for example, well, let's do a real example. Once I realized I hated my job because I definitely did not like working where I worked, it felt like to me that I couldn't go back on that choice. And I agree that there are choices you can't go back on. Like once you have a baby, that baby is here and now that baby is your responsibility. You can't, I mean, some people do, I guess, but I don't believe that I can go back on that choice. And I guess that's kind of a part of it as well. It's like people believe they can change choices and other people believe they can't in different areas. And I think it just depends on your morals and what you believe to be true. However, there are a lot of choices in a lot of areas in life that are gray. There are a lot of areas in life that are not black and white. We get to make the choice. We can make a new choice. We can change our mind. We can do it differently. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as we're not hurting anybody and everybody is safe. Like there are just some things that do not have to stay the way that they are, and we can choose for them to be differently. Choose for them to be different. Choose for things to go differently. And I feel like realizing that and acknowledging that is really helping me to come out of the victim mindset that I was in when it came to the household, because there are so many responsibilities there that it can just feel overwhelming. And even in that, it was hard to make a choice because there's so many things. I'm never going to get it done. I'm not going to choose what to start first. I'm just going to kind of do whatever becomes an emergency and not worry about the rest of the stuff, not make a plan, and not make the choice to be prepared for my days. And obviously with small kids, it can be a challenge, and I'm acknowledging that. And depending on what season of your child's life they're in, it's more challenging than others, physically and emotionally. And so obviously when you're in survival mode, this is going to be a little bit different of a conversation. But I think once you come out and realize like you have come out of that fog and realize you have a little bit more, you can take a deep breath, you can catch your breath. There's an opportunity for you to make choices and make changes in your life. And I think for me, that's just something that I'm recently learning that I wanted to share and talk about today for Vlogmas. If you like content like this, where I'm sharing about motherhood and what I'm learning and hopefully inspiring you in your journey, please subscribe. I'm planning to post every day for the month of December, and I would love to have you here on my journey. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.